Hey everybody, it's Michael B. It's Michael B the Game Genie. So nice to join you guys, everybody, again for another Monday Chill and Chat with Michael B. Thanks so much, everybody, for being here. I want to say hello to some people here in the chat that I see already. Mark L, Adam Kalb, Sling Spade. 30 seconds to go, Shudder. To Die For, Bobby Vu's here. Everybody, say hello to Bobby Vu. GameBroker84, the best part of my Monday is about to start. That is so awesome to hear, man. Mark L, Joseph Ng, Art Davidson, my friend Ness Addict, Alfred Berger, Adam Cal, Bob Oif, Adam 12, Jeff Rule, 8-Bit Vinyl, Brad O'Connell, Hollywood Polo, how are you today, Hollywood Polo, Ryan Gerber, Dylan J, I know that Stringer Films was here earlier. Who else do we got here? If I missed, Alpha Trion was here. I think that was earlier today. I accidentally, when I first posted this, set it to 2:30 in the afternoon. I think people were waiting for me then, and I felt so bad. All right, we've got Hunter Killer, Kongs R Us, Kongs, Daryl Lanson, Jeff Whittison, Steve B, Gross Gaming, Verinsky 75. Lewis, no burgers. Well, you got to go to my other channel, Mike Bangs, for that, Lewis. Verinsky 75. All right, Dark Empire, Techno Billy, Mike Amon. All right, everybody. Tonight we're going to get started. You guys know I'm a really big fan of Arcade1Up. So obviously I would never say anything bad, right? Well, I'm not going to here. But we do need to talk about this. When the Arcade1Up Legacy cabs, specifically the Street Fighter and Mortal Kombat Legacy cabs first came out, there were some people in the community that were a little disappointed by some of the design factors with the cabinets. Zohar, Steve Victoria's here, Tony C, Mr. Steven, RoboGrunt, Razman, Soulless Swede. Who else did I see here? Mike Bangs, there it is. Stringer Films knows what I'm talking about. I want to sub to a mukbang channel for sure. Mike Bang. Getting back, some people, I watched a video specifically with Fishbeat Productions well before I actually got my Legacy Edition cabinets, and nothing wrong with constructive criticism, exactly. So, Fishbeat Productions had some concerns about the ledges for the Arcade1Up Legacy cabinets on both the Street Fighter and also the Capcom Legacy, because it's the exact same model. And also, my buddy P-Dubs did a review of the Midway Legacy, and he had similar issues. So, there's three main issues that we're going to talk about. Before that, let's talk about the positive. These look great. They look absolutely beautiful. I love the fact that they went back and with Street Fighter 2 did the World Warrior. That cabinet is beautiful. I mean, I've always been really jealous of Cool Toys, Street Fighter 2, the World Warrior. Retro Ralph just went and picked one up on... Yeah, Fishbeat Productions is a fantastic channel. His production level is something I aspire to do. He's obviously much better at Photoshop than I am, and... Don't tell the wife, I just bought a Pac-Man 40th edition. I won't, Tony C, I promise. I got a funny story to tell you about Photoshop that I'll get back into later. I wasted much of my day today learning how to do something in Photoshop. GameBroker84 says something too. The UI on these cabinets is amazing. The games, they all look great. The screen, such an amazing improvement. That BOE monitor, so much better than the Wave 1 monitors. And the stereo speakers, everybody knows with Street Fighter, there was an issue with Street Fighter, and some of the sounds were cut out on the original cabinet with the mono speakers. This fixes that. All the games sound better. So many good things about these cabinets. These cabinets are awesome. Except for these design flaws that people brought up. P-Dubs, Fishbeat Productions. So there's issues with the ledges and also with the control panel. A lot of people said we're losing some space in the control panel and it's going to be a little tight. Then P-Dubs really brought it up and he talked about the line of sight issue, and so did Fishbeat Productions. And some people said, why is everybody complaining about the line of sight issue? No one mentioned it with the Neo Geo MVSX, and... I don't know. I never got to play the Neo Geo. I think another reviewer mentioned the fact that when the Neo Geo was going around, the actual review copy, traveling review unit that went around from reviewer to reviewer. There was no stand, so we really didn't notice that. It was only once you got both components, the Neo Geo MVSX and the stand, that you noticed the line of sight issue. The first time I heard about it really was in P-Dub's review. Jolly Green, I'm not saying I don't love them, because I love them. I'm just saying that there were some issues brought up. And I'm going to be honest, I originally assumed that people were making too much of it. I always think that. You guys know I'm a huge Arcade1Up fan, and because the Legacy cab is shorter than the other cabs. Yes, Lewis is also onto something there. We're going to come back to that too. You know, I'm a big Arcade1Up fan. I like so much. I'm just wondering why before the video started I saw a YouTube ad about manscaping. I set my YouTube ads to reach out to targeted people that needed help. What kind of stuff am I promoting here? If you stick around, I'll promote something good, P-Dubs. Anyways, completely lost now. This has gone completely off the rails. So, the Legacy cabs, I thought people were blowing these issues up a lot. I'm a big fan of Arcade1Up, and usually a lot of the things people say, you know, it's an easy hook in a YouTube video to kind of trash on stuff. And, you know, I'm not saying P-Dubs or Fishbee did that, but a lot of times you look for something to really bring up as a critique. So I waited, and I got them myself. And, you know, I knew ahead of time, I said it looked like the Midway, and I thought I was watching Nostalgia there for a minute. I knew that the Midway and Street Fighter Legacy were, like Lewis said, going to be a little bit shorter. You could see it in the pictures. People had them stand next to other cabinets. So I knew they were going to be shorter, but I didn't know if that really would impact the line of sight issue. And I also knew that the monitor wasn't going to be slanted. So I got both, and as soon as I started playing, I realized, yes, there is a line of sight issue. I'm 5'11", 6 foot-ish, and really, like, I can't see a good portion of the top of the screen. Probably that much of the top of the screen I can't see when I'm standing in front of it directly. Now, a lot of people are going to say, you know what, just sit on a stool, not a big deal. That's fine. I love sitting on stools when I'm playing beat-em-ups. I love sitting on stools. But otherwise, I want to stand in front of an arcade. I want it to feel like an arcade cabinet. I love standing up in front of it. So, I don't want to do that. I shouldn't have to do that. That's not what these are for. Oh, no, Dub Zero might come here. That is some hokey WCW Glacier shit, P-Dubs. I'm telling you now. Anyways, so going back, I'm really off track tonight. Easiest solution to get a riser for a riser. We're going to come back to that sling spade. 100%. Risers for risers. That's way down on my list. I made a list again tonight. Oh, wait a minute. So I'm organized here, guys. So the line of sight issue, I noticed immediately, and, you know, the easiest solution is the arcade split that we've all talked about so much. Like, I've got a review video for the Capcom Legacy cabinet coming out hopefully on Wednesday, and you can see in it, I take a video where I do this massive split in order to get at a level where I'm 2. I think you need to be about 5'4", 5'5". So either you sit on a bench, sit on a stool, or you're 5'5". You're a shorty, like my buddy Detroit Love. That's the way you can enjoy it without the line of sight issue. Then there's also the control panel deck ledge. The deck ledge is there. Realistically, there's nothing you can do about it. Your hand is on the deck ledge when you're playing. Like, that's how I play. I play with my, like, palm of my hand resting on the control deck while I'm moving the controller. Now, there's other methods. Like, some people reached out to me and they said, just use the the wine glass method. And I had never seen this, so I looked it up. So there's a wine glass method that you use with a ball top where you don't rest your hand on the control deck at all. What you do is you actually hold the ball top, or bat top, I guess you can do it too, between these two fingers and hold it like you would a wine glass and play that way. And I mean, that's wacky. I need one of those riser extensions. That's the other thing we're going to come in here. No, I'm not cold towards Arcade1Up, and I'm going to explain that too, because I think I know what happened here. because I'm not going to attack them. I'm going to give them credit and criticism, P-dubs, not cold. So, you know, it's a little hard to play, and it's strange that they did that. But in the original arcade, like Retro Ralph showed with his, you can see on it, there is a ledge there. But I talked to P-dubs about that as well, and the big difference between the initial cabinet and the Arcade1Up one, he's building up the Mike Bangs one up against one. That's awesome, Stringer. Thank you so much for the super chat. So with the original cab, yes, they had that ledge there, but there's also 6 to 7 inches of clearance between the control stick and the ledge, so there's tons of space for you to put your hand, rest it down on the control panel. The other thing too is, people had mentioned ahead of time, we're going to lose space on that control panel where it's in between, and I was like, oh, that's not a big deal. But you don't notice it till you actually put your hands on the control panel. So I was playing the other day, and so I had my hand resting against the ledge there, or inside the ledge trying to control the controls, and I had my hands on the button, and I realized my, I don't even have that big of hands, but my hands were on the buttons, but they were almost touching the other person's control stick on the high punch and high kick. And I was like, man, this is going to be really, really, really hard for us to play 2-player. So that's what it is. These issues that have been reported, unfortunately, they're real. Now, the question is, how did this happen? I'm trying to get my head around this, on how this would have happened. And I think I have many different answers for this. Number one is, I just don't think that this was... I don't think this was quality tested. I think the games, the UI and the games, all that stuff, I think that was tested and approved, and that is fantastic. They did a great job with that. But I don't think an actual production cabinet or development cabinet actually got out and got into anybody's hands for someone to try it first. The reason why is multiple reasons, but I'll ask you guys in the comments. Do you think that this cabinet, as it stands now, actually went out and was stress tested by Arcade1Up's quality assurance team? Do you think something went out to somebody to make sure? I saw your video, P-dubs, about Arcade1Up selling the PCB separate. I've said that a lot of times. I was going to do that with my Marvel Superhero, except they put in the Wi-Fi feature. I was like, you know what, I'm not going to buy X-Men vs. Street Fighter or Marvel vs. Capcom. I'll just get the, a PCB and switch it out and do a conversion with my Marvel Superheroes back and forth. Nope. Arcade1Up needs to have testers here in the States to prevent this sort of thing. That's what Lewis says. He's not wrong. I don't think they did either. So everybody kind of agrees with me, and I think we're right. So here's the reason why. One is the fact that typically, I'm not saying this is like a nuts thing, but they came out with a completely new concept. They're trying to appease the fans. Might be on the beta testing for you. So it's all... No. So they have a proven product. Like right now, they have cabinets that all look exactly the same, that are already stress tested. So I don't think in their process currently they had any kind of quality stress testing like this, because all the cabinets had that cookie cutter design. So there was no real need to test them. So that when they came out with the new design, they did it to their specifications, and just there was no process in place to make sure that this happened. Cat was beta tested by D-Love. I saw someone else, I think it was Fishbee Productions, in his video say John D must have tested it. I have no idea how tall John D is, but if someone did test it, they have to be short, because there's no way anybody would have noticed this. So my thought process is they just don't have that process in place to test out new formats and new designs, because they've never needed it before. All the cabinets are essentially the same, so there's no real reason to have that process in place. Yeah, the Legacy line is incredible. Like it's great that they did this, but they just didn't have that process in place. That's my thought for A, that this is what happened. Then we get to B, why this happened. they were in the middle I'm sorry if my mic keeps popping here, guys. And anybody who doesn't have a problem with the legacy cabs, I'm not trying to rain on your parade. I think they're great. It's just these issues that we need to talk about. So the other thing is, since the whole pandemic has started, Arcade1Up has completely changed their business. Like Scott Bacharach has talked about it. They're a Florida company now. They've moved down to Florida. Then you still got like people working out of California. I think John D. and Cyrus Rosenberg still work in California. You got David McIntosh, who seems to be quarantined in Canada the whole time. So they've really changed the way that their organization probably works. You even think about when they were doing the trade show over the summer, and John D. reached out and said, "Does anybody have an NBA Jam cabinet?" I mean, obviously, this is not a company that has a bunch of their own products on site to just test. They seem to be really kind of all over the place right now with the modification of their business. So if there is a testing program in place, maybe because of this difference, they didn't get a chance to test this new design. I know that's thin, paper thin, but I'm just throwing it out there. And then the third idea behind this of why this wasn't tested, stress tested, to find these issues before it went to mass production, was the fact that right now there's massive production problems. Like they're having issue getting chips, costs are up, shipping's up, and maybe the timelines just didn't meet. I mean, most of these products have been delayed, and maybe they didn't think there was enough time in order for them to get a test cabinet and test it out in order to put their production order in to get it out to the public. So maybe this was a timing issue, and there just wasn't time to test the new form factor in order to get it to us reasonably close to the original launch dates. So those are my three concepts on that, on why this new form factor wasn't tested. Let me know what you guys think. Lewis, I completely agree with you. Killer Instinct is going to be different. It has to. This is a cabinet that is make or break for Arcade1Up. Everybody wants this one. I mean, the legacy cabs, like, people are going to be happy with that, but, Killer Instinct, if that's wrong, people are going to riot. They're going to go nuts. Mike Hawkhurt says, my X-Men vs. Street Fighter cab hasn't been delivered yet. Looks like you're going to have to wait another night to kick my ass online. I'm actually terrible. Good enough to beat P-dubs, but I don't know about you, Mike Hawkhurts. Hey, Nintendo, what's going on, brother? I am a sexy beast. Just for you, Nintendo. I will still buy it even if they don't. Well, I think we're all kind of in that boat. I have reached the point where I think I've bought every single cabinet they've released, stand-up cabinet, except for like 6, I think. I didn't buy Galaga. I didn't buy, I can't remember. We'll go back to that, but I've bought most of them. If you guys tuned in last week, you remember I mentioned I was going to go back and try to buy Frogger. Well, yeah, that happened. I went back and I got Frogger afterwards, thanks to the Brick putting them on sale. I also bought Golden Tee while I was there. So, I made a bunch of space by consolidating cabs, and then I threw it all away for Golden Tee and Frogger, but I love it. Yeah, Dylan J makes a really good point here. I think they were listening to feedback, trying to make them look more authentic, 100%. Just backfired with playability. Yes, because it wasn't tested. And, I don't want to give away too much from my review, but that's what it says. I mean, these are beautiful. Just in practice, they're not comfortable, unfortunately. Clearance lucky, Michael Suna. You're 100% right. There is another one. I didn't write this down on my list. That's why I almost forgot it. I talked about this with, I think it was P-Dubs and Rexer. I have another theory as well on the line of sight issue, why this happened. And I don't know if I mentioned that or not, but what I think it is we were all really, really confused why the screen wasn't slanted on these legacy cabinets. I mean, it seems so regressive that the legacy cabinets wouldn't have the slant that we were used to from the Wave 3 cabinets. And I assumed the slant for the Wave 3 cabinets was an ergonomics thing. They just wanted to slant the screen more so we could see it better. But actually, going back and looking at it and looking what happened with this new design, something Third Floor Arcade with Jason, I think I'm more excited for X-Men than I am Killer Instinct. Me too, man. We're going to play together, by the way. Also, Third Floor Arcade with Jason, I'm supposed to tell you, Sling Spades here in the chat too. We are setting up a Frogger group where we're going to race each other with high scores, so I'll connect with you more on that too, brother. Anyways, I was looking at those Wave 3 cabinets and the slanted screen on it, and then looking at the new one, and something dawned on me. On those Wave 3 cabinets with the slanted screen, I don't know if they're so much slanted for our viewing pleasure, or they were slanted as a design necessity in order to add the speaker panel. They were only slanted to add the speaker panel. So when we get to the legacy cabinets, all of a sudden the new design gives them this extra room, and instead of doing a longer speaker panel to keep the same slant, they decided to just use the same speaker panel they already had and slant the screen back up. And I know this sounds stupid, but again, I'm scratching my head trying to understand why this happened. And Rexer said it best. Rexer said, yeah, so they can save a bunch of money because they don't have to create a separate part. They can just have a standardized part they can use, and all they got to do is unslant the screen. And then some other people said the reason why the screen isn't slanted is, again, it's a viewing issue, and I don't know. Lewis mentioned earlier that the cab is shorter, and there's another funny thing about it too, because the marquee is actually an inch shorter than every other cabinet. But if the marquee was right up to the front of the wings, it would actually be the same height as all the other cabinets. So I don't know again, why isn't that marquee right out to the front of the wings? And the only thing I can think of is the standardization of that speaker panel and not having to create a new one. I'm confused. Arcade1Up doesn't suck. You need to buy Frogger. You could join our group, P-Dubs. Frogger's awesome. I love it. If you can find one, that is. It's out of print from everything I understand. I know Walmart had it. I don't know if they still do. But if you can find a Frogger, definitely pick it up. So that's kind of my analysis on the legacy cabs and the issues why they came up. Then we move into the question of, Kelsel's Arcade, no problem. Catch you next time. And I know you wanted to tell me some hints on how we could fix it. Sorry, you can't stick for that. Emery Arcade, what's happening? Kind of wishing I would have saved room for X-Men at this point. Oh, I'll make room. Yeah, there's a Frogger group. We're getting a Frogger group together, brother. Is that like the Island of Misfit Toys? Kessel's Arcade, even I'm not buying Frogger. Oh, you guys are missing out. Frogger, it has the wrong music, it has the wrong art, it even has that screen filtering issue, but we all still love it. I am hesitant about joining Facebook, though. Maybe we can find a different way to do it, Sling Spade, but we are definitely going to do Frogger. So the question is that we're talked about this issue, is it really that bad? And the truth is, no. I mean, it's not a deal breaker. Like, this doesn't stop anybody from getting the cabinet. The cabinet is still pretty great. I mean, you get updated screen, you get updated speakers, you get 12 games. It looks beautiful. There's so much good with it. It's just a little uncomfortable. That's the truth of it. And ergonomics should never be a second thought with these cabinets. They should have. Oh, Steve Victoria, we got to add you to the Frogger group too. Steve Victoria's a big Frogger fan. He's actually the one that talked me into it. So, Steve Victoria, you're in, buddy. So it's not that bad. It's just a little uncomfortable, and it's frustrating. I mean, for some people like P-Dubs just scrapped the legacy cab. He basically took the PCB out and just stuck it in his Costco Mortal Kombat and said, yeah, I'm done. It was that bad for him. So it depends on how uncomfortable you are. For the people that don't mind it, great. I'm a little uncomfortable with the height. I don't like playing fighting games and score chasers on a stool. I want to play them standing up. So I've got to figure something out. What do you guys think? Anybody that has one of the legacy cabs, Capcom or Midway, here in the chat, let me know what you think. Is it really that uncomfortable? Is the screen issue, line of sight issue a big deal? What about the control panel being small? And also, what about the ledges? Commando is impossible. Oh my god. Like, once I do my review, I'm obviously it has 12 games, so I can't talk about all 12 games. So what I'm going to do is, I'm going to do kind of like what I did with Pinball, and I'll just do a little snippet of the gameplay for each one. And when you see my Commando gameplay, you will know Commando is hard. Awesome. Look forward to being part of the Frogger group. Frogger for life. Frogger Secret Society. I'm boycotting all filter cabs. I know the filter is stupid, and I don't think we're going to get a filter on Frogger. Order a tripod for my phone after this, right after the show. Yes, Sling Spade. We're doing it. We're doing it. Jolly Green says he's fine with the legacy cabs. I think most people are going to say that too. They're fine with the legacy cabs. It's not a huge issue. It's just a little uncomfortable, right? Lean your legacy against the wall. Mod done. Well, Frogger is Dub Zero's favorite game. Ooh, interesting. Comforts Dylan. I love Hollywood Polo. He's always comforting everybody. If anybody's ever got a problem, Hollywood Polo is here to help you out. I don't mind sitting down. I've got small hands, don't care about the ledges, but I understand my fellow arcade enthusiasts. Yeah, Carl, I get that. I don't know. My hands aren't super small. As long as I can capture the game, it will be cool. Have Midway Legacy Cab, and I believe the problems are overblown. That's fine. I'm with RoboGrunt on that. It's just uncomfortable, right? It's not a deal breaker. It's not enough not to get them. Still prefer Frogger on the 2600. I have a Capcom Legacy. I'm super tall, so I sit at all my cabs, so the viewing angle doesn't bother me. Also had to raise the control deck with washers. Yes, we're going to get into that. Control panel on the Legacy is honestly the biggest problem. Owners of both. Control deck and ledges don't bother me at all while playing by myself. Cliff brings up a good point, and I meant to mention that as well. All the Arcade1Up cabinets that currently have that new concept where the control panel is squished in between, the only ones that did it before this were Star Wars, where it's one player and you're using that yoke. Obviously, I think Outrun probably did it. I don't know. I don't have Outrun. But then it's the Pac-Man cabinet, the new Pac-Man, like Pac-Man 40th Anniversary, Miss Pac-Man, and I guess like Super Pac-Man. So that's also a one-player game where, the space isn't really an issue. So obviously with two-player, this is the first time it's happened. So we'll have to see. That's the question. Has anybody tried to play two-player on one of the Legacy cabs? Oh, the other thing too, I forgot to mention about the Legacy cabs. We forget sometimes. I'm a 40-year-old man. We're all older people. Most of the people in this group and watching this chat, we're older people that there's a big nostalgia factor for us that we get to, create a home arcade. It's so cool. But these cabinets aren't really made for us. They're made for kids. They're made for us to kind of share our history with kids, and I'm sure kids don't really mind like the smallness of the control panel. They don't have the line of sight issue, so. All right. So we talked about, is it really that bad? Now let's talk about how can they fix it. And some of the fixes that we're going to talk about are the same for, and we'll also talk about, will they fix it? So some of the fixes that we're going to talk about for current owners first. So when Burger Time went out, and the community was really upset because Burger Time is obviously a four-way game that requires very fast and precise movements, they came out with a fix for that. Going back to the very first wave of Arcade1Up cabinets, when the control panels didn't come with deck protectors and people complained about the art rubbing off, they sent out deck protectors to everybody. They've been a great company to respond to issues like that and try to help people out. So the question is, with the complaints about the Legacy cabinets, because some of them are overblown for some people, but these are real issues, will they do anything to fix it? One of the reasons why I think that maybe... Daryl, you're 40? My God, you're old. Wait, I'm 55. That sucks for me. I've played the... Cliff Rowe says, I've played the fighting games with my wife. It felt cramped, but didn't stop us from having fun. That's good. It does. Like, I've played even the old one, old Mortal Kombat with a buddy of mine, and I mean, we were pretty close together, and it's so awkward because you're trying to do your fatalities, but like, you're on an angle, and like, you have to change the way you're used to playing, so. Two-player on the Legacy are really tight, less from two-player on Gen 1 to Gen 2. That's what I was just thinking. I'm still here, just hanging LEDs in the basement. My man, I'm looking at getting some new LEDs right now. Is this the Bob the Builder segment? Pretty close. So for current owners, one thing I noticed was after the complaints about the ledges came out, there's a guy here in Canada, I can't remember what his Facebook name was now because he's changed it. Now he just goes by Arcade Boy QC, and he was the very first one to post his solution for the control panel. And what he did was he put little washers underneath the control panel on that riser edge and brought it up with the little washers to the same level right across, so the ledge was no longer there. So then Justin, Console Kits, who you guys know, the 1UP Weekly, they're still very connected with Arcade1Up, I think. Well, they were anyways. He reached out to Cyrus Rosenberg. He tagged Cyrus Rosenberg in the post and said, hey, this is an idea, guys. Why don't you send out some washers? That's the idea I was getting that he was trying to get to do. So that was an option. There was another guy in the community too. I don't know if he's watching, but what he did was he actually took the black foam that the Legacy panels combined with, and he cut it out, and he used the foam as the spacer between the control panel and the other one. I'm getting some messages. Oh, there it is. Oh, yeah. Stringer Films, that looks awesome, brother. Michael, my hands are small, too. So, Mike Hawk Herb, Mike Hawk Hurts, Mike Hawk Burns, and what's the other one? I can't remember. I'm 100% sure they're all Mike Hawk Hurts. So he used the foam that's actually in there to raise it up. So then at that point, we got the control panel raised up, and you don't sit on the ledge. But like Fishby mentioned, you still are rubbing your hand along that side panel, and you can still rub off the art. So it's not a perfect solution, but maybe Arcade1Up will do that for current owners. But then we get to the, issue with the, what do you call it? Marquee. You get to the issue with the marquee and the line of sight issue, and that's a little bit tougher. Like, I mean, there's an easy fix for us. There's an easy fix that I'm going to be doing this week, but for Arcade1Up, it's a little tougher because, like Hawks Eric. Oh my god! Wow, that's a lot of YouTube channels. That's the funniest one yet. Wow. I don't know what, Arcade1Up for the control deck can send out washers. Easy. But for the line of sight issue, it's a little bit tougher. I mean, in terms, they want to send something out that's not going to cost them a ton of money. It's not going to weigh heavy, but, like, you got an option. You can either send out, like, a riser for your riser, send out a new higher riser, or, I mean, the real solution is to send out brand new side panels, 2 brand new side panels that are actually fit correctly, that actually lift the cabinet up a little bit. Then you can also slant your monitor back, and then they would have to send out a higher speaker panel as well, and they might even need to send out a new control deck, and I don't know if that's going to happen. So I don't know if they can do a fix on that one, and I don't know if they will. What I'm more concerned about is that this is the Evergreen Edition. I mean, like, this is the one they said was going to constantly come out. That's what David McIntosh said. That's what John Diaz said. And, if they're going to make changes going forward, and they need to, they do. They can't keep selling this. It's just, Raymond Reed says, or just don't buy it. Well, I've already bought it, Raymond. So, yeah, that's another option, too. We know if they're going to keep using this design and it's no better, we don't buy it. I did a video on the Atari Legacy cabinet that's coming out. In Canada, we found out it's coming out a month sooner. I found out last night after I posted my video that a lot of people in the U.S. actually possibly are getting it this week. So I'm waiting to see what they say, because this is also a new form factor, so I'm nervous about that, and that's where I'm to now. After this experience, I'm kind of a little bit snake-bitten, and I'm waiting to see what their experience is with this new form factor. And, maybe I won't buy it. That's possible. 100%. tall peeper risers, they would sell thousands. That could be a whole new line of business for them. I don't want to say that, Brad. It's not packed full of flaws. This is actually a really good cabinet. It's just the idea behind it is amazing. It's just, I do hope that they fix it, and hopefully they provide some kind of fix to us guys as well that went out and bought these. That would be really cool if they could do that. They definitely need to fix it going forward. If this is a cabinet they're going to use, not just for the Legacy Edition, but for their standard... did I get that Tron tattoo yet? Not yet. My cock. Oh my god. New form factor looks good, but in practice, yeah, you're right. It's not so great. So hopefully, if this is a new form factor, maybe they will upgrade it. And hopefully they do take care of us, the early adopters that bought this early one. But if not, at least going forward, the people that get it will learn from the mistakes of the first one. And yeah, we'll go from there. And that's fine. For future models, I hope that, I just talked about what they could do for us. I hope they do that. I hope that they make the cabinet a little bit taller. I hope they add a longer speaker panel, slant the screen, bring the marquee further out, get rid of that line of sight issue, and maybe bring the control panel up and go out over like they used to with their older cabinets. I appreciate what they were trying to do with the ledges because it's part of arcade history. It just doesn't work in practice, unfortunately. It's not the worst thing in the world. It's, you could live with it and most people won't even have a problem, but it is uncomfortable and it just shouldn't be. Now, how can you fix it yourself? We just talked about that. So Arcade Boy QC put risers in, someone else put foam in and lifted the control panel up. That's an easy one. So the control panel. Then you might want to talk about putting something over that deck edge. You could go out and get like a longer piece of plexiglass cut that would fit into the area. That's a lot of work, or maybe something. But what you're going to have to be careful of when you do that is making sure that when you're rubbing against that ledge now, because you still will be a little bit, make sure that you have something over it to make sure the art on the side doesn't peel off. And some of mine already is. But that's without rubbing. It was just cut a little poorly. And that's luck of the draw. Nothing really that bad with it. But then we get to the line of sight issue, and it's an easy answer. Cab just needs to be a little bit taller. So that's an easy fix. On Amazon, a lot of people were buying these. You could buy these riser extenders that I think were like 3 to 4 inches. I don't know how much they cost, but they basically fit right on top of the current Arcade1Up riser, and it will raise your cabinet up. That's all we really need. It's like my wife says sometimes, I wish there was another 4 or 5 inches, and everything would be perfect. So that's it. That's the big just buy 2 risers. I don't know about the. I know. Riser extender. Maybe our friends over at Buy Stuff Store, they did the riser for the At Games Legends Ultimate. Maybe there's a new line of business for them making their own Arcade1Up risers. And honestly, that's what I'm going to do for this cabinet. I mean, I've already sold my Final Fight, my Street Fighter. There's no going back now. I'm locked in on these. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to build a little, probably 4 to 5 inch riser. I'm just going to buy my own MDF. I'm going to come up with the design itself. It's probably just going to be a little bit bigger than the Arcade1Up riser itself. That will fit in there, and then I'll put my cab in, and that should fix my line of sight issue, and I'll be pretty happy with that. I'm currently playing with my hand right on the ledge. I don't know if I'm going to raise it up. The other thing about raising the control panel up is a lot of people have mentioned that there's going to be a slight gap if you do. There's a couple options for that too. You can buy your own little piece of MDF, paint it black, and do an upgraded J panel, but that's actually changed now. It's not called J anymore because the pieces that go on the side the control panel sits on is now the J thing there. So you can build your own piece of wood, but an even easier solution is if you raise your control panel up, just put a piece of black electrical tape to cover it. Won't even notice it. But what I'm going to do for the line of sight issue, just if I get time this weekend, hopefully I'm going to build risers for my risers. So I'll raise it up 4 or 5 inches and everything will be super duper. Right now I'm still playing with these. I'm having a lot of fun. Have you considered playing while doing the splits? Oh, P-dubs, I've tried that too, but It's gonna be Arcade Hong. Oh my goodness, all my friends are here. But with the riser, Attack of the Riser, it puts the control panel up by the ceiling so you're like a kid at the adult table. Well, you're not wrong about that. That is the wow, Mike Bangs is super modest tonight. Thanks for the super chat, Stringer Films. Zohar says, has anyone tilted the entire cab backwards a bit against the wall? It works. Hi, Destro. How's it going? Stringer Films, thank you so much for the super chat. Anything is possible. So, I haven't tried that, Zohar. So basically you're saying put something under the front of the riser and just tilt it back so the front panel is on an angle. Yeah, I get that. He's not making excuses for them. He's stating everything that's wrong and what they can do to improve. I love Arcade1Up too, but they need to do some damn testing. Yeah, Lewis is right. And Zero Hero. Dude, I love 1UP. Love the games. Love the Unforgivably. I'm not making excuses for them, man. I'm giving them constructive criticism, Zero Hero. I'm not saying that this is okay. It really isn't. This should have been tested. It sucks because there's no way if there was a process where someone received one of these cabinets and someone spent an hour with it. You don't even have to spend an hour. Spent an hour with it. You could have realized that these were problems. It wasn't comfortable. There's no way around that. It just wasn't done. There's no way it was. And I love Arcade1Up so much. I mean, I bought pretty much every single one of their cabinets, but there's just no way it was done. None. And it might be reasons for that. Just 2 pegs in the front and the entire cab will be slanted backward. It works. All right, Zohar. Worth a shot. Lewis, you're not wrong. I mean, it's weird. Like, a product of this nature, you would normally test it. I even don't understand, that's, like, the beta tester program, it's great to make sure the games play well, but, I mean, you know, we're not just playing the games here. They really do need a cabinet testing. Yeah, they did the software well, but the design for the cab is not good. 100%. Software they got right, hardware they didn't. What about taking the software from Legacy and putting it in a Gen 1? I didn't even mention that. So Zero Hero, great point. P-Dubs actually did this. If you guys want to see it, go over and check out P-Dubs Arcade Loft channel. P-Dubs actually took his PCB out of his Midway Legacy cabinet. Just trashed the Midway Legacy cabinet. He's going to use it for parts, maybe do a mod, and put his PCB into the Mortal Kombat Costco version because it's got to have a BOE monitor. The monitor's got to match up. The crazy thing about that is, if you remember, that Costco Mortal Kombat cabinet had the speaker, mono speaker, in the control panel. So when you hook it up the standard way, even with the just the no speaker panel coming out, just the PCB board connecting to the control panel, even the new PCB will still work with the mono speaker. So as long as you have the Costco Mortal Kombat, you can put the Midway Legacy PCB into that. Now, when it comes to the Street Fighter 2 on the original Wave 1 Street Fighter cabinet, I don't know, because that's a different monitor. I don't know if there'll be any issues, and there's a different connector that actually goes in. The new connectors are the little tiny small one we're all used to, and the Street Fighter, maybe there is a way to do it though, and not with the screen, but the Street Fighter, yeah, you might be onto something, because maybe you can just maybe if you had both, you can just take the screen out, move the screen over. The only problem then is that wire that comes out of the PCB, where it's so thick, won't fit into the control, won't fit into the control panel for the original Street Fighter. Might make a tapper. That's an awesome idea, P-Dubs. Yeah, that's Zero Hero. Like I was right there. You can move the monitor, but the problem then is the control panel. I don't know what you do with the control panel. Maybe you can just take everything off the new Legacy Edition control panel and stick it on the control panel from the Street Fighter Model 1. Maybe there's a way. It seems like a lot of work. Monitor swap isn't a problem. Control panel is what will be the problem there. Hook in the bit of a modification to put the speaker in there too. Wrong size ribbon cable, Zero. That's what P-dubs, and that's what I'm trying to say. There must be a soft mod to tilt the screen back. Yeah, 100%. It's not soft. So there's nothing soft about it. You get a drill, you get a router, and you cut it out. Yeah, you got to gut it and swap it like a fish. 100%. Tapper is fantastic. One of my favorite things about the Midway Legacy cabinet. You could just replace the screen, PCB, and CP encoder. Pretty much everything. Yeah, guys. I don't want to be having these streams. I like talking about the positive things. I like talking about what's coming out, talking about pinball, what do we think about it, legacy cabs, such a really cool idea, such a cool concept, and unfortunately, they just tripped up, and hopefully they can catch it and fix it, and hopefully where they're evergreen cabinets, they can modify them, catch some of the early issues that people like us have experienced, and fix it for all the people going forward. I hope they don't try to keep selling this, because that's a mistake. 100%. Honestly, take constructive criticism from your fans, people like me, and, try to fix it. That would be great. Player 1 setup is best for that legacy design. One player setup. If you want to talk pinball, this won't get any better. Yeah, a lot of you guys are harsh on the pinball. I'm sorry, the pinball is not perfect. Yeah, I mean, the Whitewater thing is bananas. Like, I started playing it, and I was like, I don't remember being good at Whitewater, but I don't remember being that bad, so. But that's can be fixed with a software fix, and it looks like Mel Kirk's on top of that, so y'all hit the like button. 140 of y'all haven't yet. Thanks, Scott Gray. I don't think they will fix the legacy caps. No, I don't think so either. I think going forward they might. Big news coming tomorrow from II Arcade. You heard it here first. II Arcade Dartboard coming live tomorrow. You heard it here first. Oh yeah, like Lewis has said it the best. If there is another department that Arcade1Up needs to bring in there, 100%, it's it's not software testing, it's hardware testing. If they come up with a new idea, like maybe they have it, and maybe this was just an oversight on their part for the other reasons I mentioned. I'm sure the Pong pub table was tested. I mean, that looks like it's, but it's also a V-Pin coming in at $500. Lewis Chambers says that too. Like, people's expectations for these pinballs were grand. Like, I say it with nostalgia. Nostalgia didn't like them. I liked them. I've never had a V-Pin before, and for me, this is the cheapest and most effective way to get one. I think they're great. Like, a lot of these issues that people are talking about, I don't care. I don't care about the screen quality, all that stuff. I think they're just super. I have so much fun playing them for what they are. But I get it. Someone who has more experience with V-Pin may be a little disappointed. I don't know what to tell you. Glenn's Pong table better than the Arcade1Up Pong table. 100% needs hardware testing. 100% agree, Lewis. We're 100% on the same page. They need to have some department doing stuff like that. And the other thing, too, is, like, a lot of us get, and I've been bad for this too, like I'll get, and you always have the hope that when you get your Arcade1Up, there's no dings, scratches, nicks on it. You want everything to be perfect, and then you get something, and like I got my Burger Time, and my control panel, the down didn't work on it on the player 1, so basically effectively meant I couldn't use the cabinet, and I opened it up, and I had to fix it myself. And I've never soldered before, but I learned that night because I wanted to play Burger Time the first night I got it. And, you know, the first thing that you notice is the quality tested sticker on it. So I think they have quality assurance at these factories. They have policies in place, but I mean, this is all outsourced and they don't really control that stuff. So you can't blame them on that. But in terms of the actual legacy cabinets, that's not on the factory unless there was some mix-up in the design. But those cabinets should have been tested by somebody here on the shores before that final design was approved. I'm just surprised by that. Mel has said that he's sending one patch, not multiple patches, so it'll be a while before we get it, but we will get it. I'm not concerned about that. I just don't know the extent of what they can do. Like, I have a big wish list of what I'd like to see, and it'd be cool if they could do it. Like, improving the contrast, because a lot of people talk about being washed out. I don't notice that one's super, super bad. But you know, cool. I'm excited to see. Will we get a second gen pin? Oh yeah, they're going to make more pinballs. There's absolutely no question about that, Michael Suna. We're definitely going to get more pinballs. I'm really hoping, fingers crossed, and this blows me away. I wouldn't have thought this, that Universal Pinball. I've been playing them. I just recently picked up, so I could be in UAG's tournament last week. I picked up all the Universal packs, so Back to the Future, Jaws, and E.T., and I want that Universal table to finally come out, and fingers crossed they put a Back to the Future theme on it. Oh, that would be so good. I'm a huge Back to the Future fan. I actually had a Back to the Future themed wedding, and we walked out to Power of Love, and our first dance was to Earth Angel. Congrats to IR Arcade for getting TMNT Shredder's Revenge. Can you imagine? Cuphead on IR Arcade, right? Fixed accelerometer. I'm surprised we never got calibration for the accelerometer. That's one thing for sure. Do I think that the MK counter cable will have different artwork? Nope. I don't think it will. What artwork would you put on it, Zohar? Ultimate Mortal Kombat 3? We're not going to get Mortal Kombat 1. We know that, unfortunately. How much do you think Arcade1Up listens to stream like these and feedback? I don't know. I'm not sure. I don't have any concept of that. I don't know if they watch reviews, anything. I can't tell you. You getting the Rachel board for your ALP to add VPX visual pinball to it. Well, I got to get my Legends pinball first, and then we will see. If I get my Legends pinball, I'm going to stay positive and be optimistic on that. I'll be negative about everything else, though. Don't worry. So, yeah. Hey, thank you so much, Zohar. Yeah, I almost had a DeLorean at my wedding, too. I was so sad about this because we went with a catering company, and it turns out that the catering company was also the same people that were the landlords of my work office. So I knew them, and anyways, I'm getting ahead of myself. One day before my wedding, I'm driving up the highway, and I see this older vehicle pulled over and stopped on the side of the road. So, you know, me being the good Samaritan I am, I assumed that they were broke down. I stopped to ask them if they needed any help, and as I start to walk up to the car, I'm like, oh my God, this is DeLorean. And so I get really excited, and the guy pops up the goose wing door, and I'm like, oh, I just wanted to check to make sure you were in trouble. And he was like, oh, no problem here. And anyways, we get to talking. He's my landlord and the owner of our catering company. And I tell him I'm a huge Back to the Future fan. I love the DeLorean. And he says, don't worry about it. Since we're catering your wedding, we're going to have the DeLorean at your wedding. And I was so excited. I was like, oh my God, this is perfect. Because I had told him we're having a Back to the Future themed wedding. So it was supposed to be there. Then it didn't show up. So that sucks. But it's not like I ordered one or anything like that. There was that chance because he said it would be there. But that would have been the absolute cream of the crop if I could have had the DeLorean at my wedding. Well, mine is like a Sam's Club situation. We're getting our At Games pinball through the brick here in Canada. So hopefully, I'm going to get both boxes. I don't think that'll be as big an issue here in Canada. I got a call from the Brick today. They said mid-May. Yeah, it depends on where you're to, Hunter Killer, because I know in Ontario there's big issues because the distribution center there is closed because of the lockdown. I'm in Newfoundland, and I'm expecting mine. It was supposed to be second week of May, probably towards the end of May. Michael B., when you renew your vows, you can do a stream for us. Maybe. There's a great Back to the Future thing on Discovery Plus channel worth watching. We don't have Discovery Plus here in Canada, Zohar. It was one of the things when Stephen Haywood went on Dr. Pimple Popper, we couldn't watch it. I hope you skipped that month's rent. Yeah, we stopped renting from them shortly afterwards, Stringer Films. Am I that old? Who the crap is The Miz? I actually support this. The Miz is Mike Mizanin. He was on The Real World. He wanted to be a WWE wrestler. He went on to become a WWE wrestler. He's a two-time WWE champion. He's been in WWE's movie The Marine for years. From a looks perspective, he would be a very good Johnny Cage. Also from an acting perspective, like if you think of the Miz character, it doesn't fall that far away from what a Johnny Cage would be. I mean, my heart lies with Jean-Claude Van Damme being Johnny Cage, but I mean, he's also old, so we'll see where it goes. Get Discovery Plus illegally. Yeah, I could do that. That's true. I know Berserk will be for sure. Oh, what am I missing here? Sling Spade. If Arcade1Up is listening, I want Berserk and Frenzy on the Robotron Smash TV cab. I would totally be down for that as well, Sling Spade. Everybody loves Back to the Future. How can you not love Back to the Future? It's my favorite movie of all time. It's my good feeling movie, too. I might be telling you too much, but I was really close with my grandfather, and, he passed away, and the day he passed away, that's what I did. That's what I did to make myself feel better. I watched Back to the Future. That's what I always do when I'm in a bad sort of way. I watch the original Back to the Future, and I feel just capital. I actually really love the first Back to the Future NES game, too. Back to the Future Unites Us All. I would skip Attack from Mars if I had to do it again. Yeah, a lot of people feel that way. But here's the thing, Brad. Brad, you also have an At Games Legends Pinball as well. And, it comes down to, have you started watching Invincible yet? No, Polo. Every time you've asked me, I don't. I'm really bad with TV shows. Like, I'm so busy all the time doing stuff. And then, my wife, I've been trying to be great with her and watch shows with her. Like, we're trying to get through The Stand right now. And she's so mad at me because it takes me forever to actually sit down and watch an episode with her to find the time to do it. Yeah, guys, so that's pretty much all I had to talk about with the Legacy Cabs tonight. I don't really have anything else on my agenda, but I'm cool to sit around if anybody else has. And yeah, I heard about that, MG. The town square in Back to the Future is also in Gremlins. They tore down that set, when was it? About 10 years ago, right? If you haven't seen the movie Nobody, watch it. I've heard that. Everybody said Nobody's fantastic. Legend Pinball plays so much better. The gameplay is way better. On the original tables, or are you doing stuff with extra stuff yet, Brad? Hey, Alan! Nice to show up. Nice of you to show up. Sorry. Yeah, I read this thing about the other day about people thinking things in their head and then going to say it. And, the big one that everybody always says is, have a nice day, and then you turn around and you're like, or have a nice flight. The person will say the stewardess, and you'll turn and say, you too. And then you're like, they're not going anywhere. Why did I say that? Yeah, if it had the AAA licenses, it would be game over for, well, I don't know about game over, but that's the constant battle with At Games. At Games have amazing products. The controls are fantastic, but a lot of times they don't put the best titles on them, and like you're left lacking. Like I love my At Games Legends Ultimate. There's tons of good games on it, but every now and then you crave something else, and then you're drawn in to bring something from somewhere else. So it's a little sad. Like you almost hope At Games will come up with a product and then have like a Mortal Kombat or a Street Fighter on it, because then they've got the software to support the amazing hardware they got as well. Sling Spade, about the Frogger Time Pilot High Score Challenge. Can we do it anything other than Facebook? 100% Sling Spade. I'm not locked into Facebook on that at all. I'm just looking for a way easiest for us to connect with each other. We can look at Discord. We could look at something like that. I don't really understand how Discord works, but we could try Discord. Anything. Zachariah tables are fantastic on At Games Legends Pinball. I'm looking forward to the Taito tables. Yeah, it's funny. It's a multi-cade. I'm not as looking forward to the Taito tables, but they might be fun. I love the idea of playing original pinball, and I thought I would stick with that too. But then I bought the Marvel and Star Wars Arcade1Up pinball tables, and I've been loving those. Christopher Lloyd is in Nobody. You'll never look at him the same. Really, Christopher Lloyd is diverse, man. Like, you think about like everything he's been in. Him as what was the name of the Judge Doom? Was he in Roger Rabbit? Like that character when his eyes popped out, incredible. Hard to get huge titles. Well, I don't know about that. It's just they cost a ton of money, right? I don't know. Hard to get huge titles when sideloading. And At Games don't promote sideloading. I mean, they promote sideloading in the same way that Nintendo promotes sideloading. You can sideload it. The only thing is they make it easier. You don't get to hack it. You don't even get to soft mount it. You can just literally bring the ROMs. So, yeah, he played Fester. Judge Doom. I just got X-Men vs. Street Fighter and the Mutant Apocalypse games. The special move button doesn't work in campaign. Anybody else having that issue? I find the best thing to do with Mutant Apocalypse on the X-Men vs. Street Fighter game is not to play it on the arcade cabinet and then play it on a Super Nintendo or Raspberry Pi. We need a Taito cab from Arcade1Up. We had one. We had Space Invaders. But it would be nice to see a Taito Legacy cab. That'd be a little tough to do. I prefer the Zen tables over the Zachariah tables. Yeah, 100%. It's all about preference. Did you see Pablo review Evercade and Pie Packer? It's so funny at Turbo Joe. No, I haven't seen that yet. I like the Zachariah tables, and what I find funny, I'm late, so it's advanced movie talk. Sorry, WKRP in Cincinnati. At Games makes gaming devices. Arcade1Up makes collectibles. I own them both and like them both, and they're different. 100%. They're just completely different markets, man. Like, me and P-Dubs always talk about it. He said he's a multi-cade guy. I think there's room for everything, right? Like, I have Raspberry Pis, but I also have NES Classics, and I have original consoles and games. Like, there's room for you to collect everything and enjoy everything. Some people prefer others. What did you think of RGT's Sanyo Famicom he got? It's a cool collectible. Very cool collectible if you want something like that. For me, I used to be that guy. Good night, Hunter Killer. We should do a Back to the Future stream. We could totally do that. Do you know Back to the Future by heart? I used to. So here's the thing. At one point in my life, I had every single just about NES console store-bought. And that's something I would have absolutely needed in my collection. But now I'm just kind of like, as long as I got one that works, I'm not as big on that aspect anymore. But I understand, like, it's cool to have those weird collectible issues. There's also like a Sega Genesis that's also a different system as well. I can't remember what it's called. And there's a Nintendo TV. There's all kinds of really cool stuff out there like that. Yeah, Mango Slay said it. More competition is good, but it's not even competition. The Arcade Games Legends Ultimate is not competition for Arcade1Up and vice versa. Like, no one says, I'm not going to get an Arcade1Up because I want an Arcade Games Legends Ultimate. They're completely different products. Now, there's people out there that have bought, like, 3 or 4 Arcade1Ups, and then they buy an Arcade Games Legends Ultimate, and really, they were looking for a multicade in the first place. They probably would have modded the Arcade1Ups to put additional games on it, and the Arcade Games Legends just makes more sense. Then you get, people like us, or people like me, that want to buy every cabinet because I'm building an arcade in my basement. I want to recreate that. It's just completely what you want to do, and what you're interested in. When is the Frogger review coming, please? Oh man, I am so far behind on my reviews. So this week I've got my Capcom Legacy Edition review coming out. That's going to be out on Wednesday, I think. I'm working on the review. I have all, like, my script wrote. I have all my gameplay recorded, all my other assets put together. So I've started it, and it's going to be pretty good. Like, the opening is awesome. If you're a fan of the Game Chasers, I don't know if you remember their first theme song. I actually reached out to Billy because I had to try to work with him and figure out from him what song he used for his original intro, but I used the same music that the Game Chasers used for their original Game Chaser Season 1 intro for the beginning of this video, so I'm really excited about that. Do I see anything wrong with the Namco Pac-Man Legacy, Michael? No, I mentioned this. Deputy Van Halen, how are you, brother? I mentioned this kind of in the beginning of the video. That one is zero problems because it's on a cabinet that they've already tested and used. It's the Pac-Man 40th cabinet, the same cabinet they used from his Pac-Man. From an actual from an actual play perspective, super comfortable. Excellent. Of course, the only thing that people are going to complain about is the marquee is far back like it was with the other 2 cabinets. As long as that doesn't bother you, no problem. Also, the game selection is incredible. Everything plays exactly like it should. You can turn off the screen filtering, which is exactly why I wanted to buy this cabinet. The yellow correct side art is incredible. The only small issue I have is for some reason my marquee, they put the wrong light bulb LED strip in my marquee, so I have a yellow shining marquee as opposed to daylight like all the other marquees Arcade1Up have out. Thanks very much, Deputy Van Halen. I appreciate that. I'm waiting for the Arcade1Up Junior Pac-Man cab with Galaga 88, Tank Battalion, Tower Draga, Rally. We never got Rally X after. Remember when Scott Bacharach, it was on the Summer Gaming event last year, he mentioned we were supposed to get Rally X on one of those Miss Pac-Man versions that came out, and we never got it. It wasn't on the Namco Legacy cabinet either. I'm really surprised about that. Namco's great. Absolutely zero issues. That'll get a very positive review from me, 100%. Yeah. My Pac-Man 40th will basically become a Namco Legacy without the... Yeah. Are you enjoying Championship Bubs? No, I actually don't have that one in my... I don't have all the Pinball FX games. And I don't have Champion Pub, so I couldn't join this week. Yeah, and that's a funny thing, RoboGrunt. You bring up a very good point there. It doesn't have the pause feature or the easy out of the game like the other cabs. It works kind of like a traditional Arcade1Up, so there's no pause. Like, I get it. Scott told me many things in 2019, too. I'm guessing that's about a Mortal Kombat cabinet. You know, the original Pac-Man had a yellowish marquee. Also, the side panels had a blue splatter flake effect. You know what, Deputy Van Halen? I didn't know that, and maybe that's why. I thought all the original arcades went with more of a daylight bulb, but yeah, you might be right, and maybe that's why they did it. If so, I'm totally fine with it, and you have made me very happy hearing that tonight. Even console ones. I'm sorry for jumping on the console. I'm nuts about that. Like, I gotta... You want to do E3 predictions, Mike? I can't do E3 predictions. I can't. Because I might know something. I've already talked about what I think is going to happen a long time ago. I said a long time ago without knowing anything. I think there might be a Simpsons cabinet coming out. I don't know what else will be on it. I think there's going to be a Smash TV cabinet with Robotron on it that I hope they're going to reverse and make a Robotron cabinet. Outside of that, I don't really know. I actually kind of expected those to be announcements back at CES, and I was kind of surprised. I was caught off guard. I 100% expected Simpsons, and then when they dropped X-Men, I was blown away, like completely caught off guard. The only other thing I can expect, I think there might be another pinball table. We'll see. Told the Arcade1Up customer service reps what a great guy you are when they asked who helped me to turn to... Hey, how about that, Sean P? That's really cool, man. Friend of mine swears he had a better high score on his Rally X machine than what was posted in the Guinness Book of Records. Should I believe him? I don't know, Coinworker. Mike Hawks Harry says 1-to-1 scale elite cabs coming, baby. 8 Pac-Man cabs and another Capcom fighter with no Wi-Fi. I don't think a new MK 3/4 scale cabinet is coming this year. I think we got the Legacy cab, and maybe in the future we're going to get a live cab. That's my guess. Arcade1Up coming out with a Ultimate Cab? No. The closest you're going to get to that is the Infinity Game Table. If they put arcade games on that, you're going to be able to add games to it, more like II Arcade. I don't think Arcade1Up will ever come out with Legends Ultimate Cab. I don't think that's a possibility. There is going to be another Pac-Man cab. I'll just say it. You know what's going to be there. And I'm not making a joke. There really will be another Pac-Man cab. I've said this 100 times. Pac-Man is the cash cow for Arcade1Up. Pac-Man is what funds the whole company. It keeps selling, man. Well, guys, I appreciate you joining me tonight. Thank you so much for joining in the conversation. We've talked about the Legacy cabs. I'm going to say it again. I don't want to upset anybody. These things are great. I just wish that they had tested the design before they put it out, because there's some real functional issues that make it uncomfortable to play, and it shouldn't be uncomfortable to play. I really wish they hadn't done that. I hope there's an easy fix. They think of a way to fix them, and I hope that going forward the Legacy cabs are modified to get past the issues that we talked about tonight. Before I leave, Deputy Van Halen, I can bring this up, and Zohar's here in the chat too, so he can jump on it as well. I would love an 100%. I would buy a Mortal Kombat 1 theme cab. I prefer Mortal Kombat 2. I love Mortal Kombat 2, the artwork on it, but Mortal Kombat 1 artwork is so iconic. It's so beautiful. I would love that. The reason why it hasn't happened is because Master Pacina, he had a falling out with Midway years ago, and they can't release the side art without him getting paid. He has to get paid. So either it's Midway or Warner Brothers that own Midway now, I think, and also Arcade1Up would have to pay Master Pacina for his likeness, and I guess no one's been willing to do that, and that's why we haven't got it. Thanks, Michael B. Another great chillin' chat. Thanks for the community. A lot of fun. Yeah, I really appreciate you guys being here. Not as positive as I normally am, but hopefully you guys see it for what it is. It's just constructive criticism, and, we're all trying to help. Up next, Mike Bangs the World. Thank you so much, Stringer Films. I'd buy another Pac-Man if it was on a Tron cab. There's a rumor out there we might be getting Tron. I don't know for sure, but there's a rumor. With Midway shape. Oh my god, yes, with Midway shape. Like that Z with the correct slope, that would have been so good. Someone actually built one in the community, and it was incredible. That's too bad. Yeah, I agree. Anyways, guys, thank you so much for joining me tonight. This is Michael B. the Game Genie. I'll talk to you guys next time.